Yo, what's good, people? What it do? What it ain't? What it is? This is your brother, J International, back with another hot exclusive one. If you have not already, like, share, and subscribe. Now, if you hear some background noise, I apologize about that. There is construction going on within my building, but don't let that take your attention away from the main message. So today, I am going to be discussing living and teaching English in Vietnam, a Street Negus perspective. And why did I choose to use this topic subheader? The reason being is if you click in the search box on YouTube, living in Vietnam from a black person's perspective, or teaching in Vietnam, you will more than likely encounter individuals that are either European, and if they are black, they are more of the Oreo type. Now, if you don't know what the Oreo type means, that's a slang for individuals who are black on the outside but white on the inside. And usually the reason being that these individuals are this way is because they either grew up in a white-dominated country like the UK or somewhere else like South Africa, or they spent a majority of their time around white people. So before I decided to come to Vietnam, I had did some research, living in Vietnam, what it's like to teaching in Vietnam, or black people in Vietnam. I would just type different things in the search box, like that. And so what I would often find is like what I described is when I did find black individuals, they were usually whitewashed. They were Oreos. And so me being a brother who comes from the town known as East Oakland, and growing up in that environment, not just being born there, but actually moving around and shaking in there, their perspectives were a bit different than what mine's may have been, because for one, they basically came here and they would assimilate to the dominant expat society, which is European. And so it was hard for me to find a way to relate to them. But needless to say, I would search for things like that and just trying to find out more information before I decided to make the move. But I had already planned to make the move a year ago, where I was just waiting on certain things to get right. But getting to the main issue, the main topic, a street niggas perspective. And why do I use street nigga? That doesn't mean that one is ignorant. That just means that basically a brother that was raised and grew up and moved around in the urban community, which I am. You know, I am that brother that grew up in East Oakland. I am that brother that went to public schools in East Oakland. I'm that brother that moved around and shaked in East Oakland and got my money up out of East Oakland. So I wasn't that brother that sister that was born there and maybe went to kindergarten there, but eventually moved to the suburbs. Like, I was in there. And so my perspective is to those individuals who come out of that environment as well. I noticed that it was lacking. You know, if you looked at any YouTuber that was talking about the subject, in particular the black YouTuber, you would notice that most of them were not from that environment, you know? So I had to come on here and drop what it's like. Now, if you are new to this channel, then you may not know that, you know, I am a well-traveled brother from the hood. I've been to every single continent except Antarctica, and I may or may not go. You know, I hear that you have to take a ship to get there, but maybe one day it can happen. So with that being said, let me give you the perspective of what it's like to live and also teach English in Vietnam from a real brother's perspective. So starting off, number one, it is super cheap. Super cheap. Everything out here is, compared to the US, or if you're a real brother from the UK, you know, because there are real brothers from the UK, real brothers and sisters, street niggas from the UK. So, but if you from the US, pretty much everything out here is super cheap, super dirt cheap. From the living arrangements, I mean, you can find a nice studio apartment or even a one bedroom for under $500, 500 USD per month. And not only are these nice accommodations, but they come, what they call out here, fully serviced. So what that means is that it's already fully furnished. They provide the Wi-Fi. You got free high-speed internet Wi-Fi. It's all included. If it's a nicer building, you'll have a laundry service. And what else? And let me see. They provide TV. If it's a nice building again, they have a gym. And they come clean your room about twice a week. All that is included in the rent. So coming from the States, where do you find something like that except for, you know, you living in a hotel? You know, you don't find that when you rent a regular apartment from a landlord. Usually the apartment is empty and you have to furnish it, and then you have to clean up yourself. So out here you can find those type of accommodations like that super cheap. The food also super cheap, man. I mean, you can literally fill your refrigerator up for about $20 to $25. You can go out to eat. You can eat the whole day and only spend about $10 and eat some decent food that will fill you up. You know what I mean? If you want to get your massage on, right? Because it's all over out here. You can go get a nice full body massage where they wipe you down, brother. They wipe you down from head to toe, scrubbing your balls and everything. All for the price of $15 to $20, and it's an hour long. Now, this is what I gotta tell you though, that Usually, when you go to these massage salons, or they call them spas or parlors, it may say that the price is $14 or $15, but usually what happens is when the lady gets you in there and towards the end of the session, she's trying to get some more money out of you. So she may say, do you want something else? Do you want a hand job, or you want, something a little extra? Give me about, if you go into a nice spot, this is where it might get expensive. And this is where Thailand beats out Vietnam in the cost as far as those services. Is that okay? So yeah, it costs you $14 to $20 to get that massage, but when it comes down to that extra thing, that extra service, that usually runs you about, I want to say, the cheapest is about 80 USD. That's where they hit you at. But that aside, everything else is super cheap, man. Everybody, they drive motorbikes out here, so the roads are crowded with motorbikes. You can get from one part of the town to the other part of the town for about $2 to $3, man. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's work out here, man. It's work, you know what I mean? So if you can find a job teaching English or whatever at a few schools, you're gonna save a lot of money. You're gonna save a lot of money, and your costs, if you are, not trying to ball out but conservative, then you should be good, man. You should be able to live. I would put it like this: if you could find a way to make $3,000 a month, you can live good off of a good ass baller type life off of $1,000 a month. If you spend $1,000 a month, and then you keep the other $2,000, and stack it or invest it however you want to do. So that's the benefits. You know what I mean? It's super cheap. Number two, it's very congested though. It is very congested. I'm in South Vietnam, in the major city of Ho Chi Minh, and it is very, 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 very congested in these streets. So it means it's a lot of pollution, and so when you riding with your motorbike, or you catching a motorbike, you are catching a lot of fumes. You're catching a lot of fumes. You know what I mean? So be prepared for that. It's very congested, very, very. They don't have any traffic laws, so the motorbikes will ride on the sidewalks and literally just hit you, and they expect you to get out of the way. And when you're trying to cross the street, you on your own. They're not stopping for you. Ain't no pedestrian right of way out here, because the traffic laws of the U.S. don't apply out here. You know what I mean? So be prepared for that. So that leads me to, number 4, but I kind of said it in number one, is that you can make decent money out here, teaching, if you have the qualifications like a degree or a TEFL certification. You can make decent money, man, and live like a boss. You dig? Live like a boss. Now, number 5, in general, the people are generally friendly. They are generally friendly. Now, I've been to China. I would say the Vietnamese people are more friendly than the Chinese people. So generally, but not the rule, but generally the people are friendly. They're nice. You know what I mean? They don't bother you. Some may stare because if you black, you're big. If you're a big black man like myself, they may stare at you. But other than that, they don't talk crazy to you. If they are talking crazy to you, you can't understand because they speak it in their language. But for the most part, I would say the people are very friendly, a lot friendlier than people are in the States. Now, this is where I know a lot of brothers wanted me to get to, and I'm getting to it right now, is the women. So let me tell you about the women. So I would say, in general, but not the rule, the local women tend to be a bit friendlier than women in the States when they find out that you are a foreigner. Now, off the top, they're gonna know you a foreigner because you're a black person. You know what I'm saying? So that ain't out the question, you know. But they are, like I said, the women are, for the most part, they are a bit friendlier. You know, they will, if you're walking down the street, you'll see some smile at you. You'll see some look at you. You know, and some maybe even try to say hi, you know, but they are a lot more approachable than women in the States. They are a lot more feminine, and they are shy at the same time. So, you know, they may smile at you and laugh at you, but if you try to hit on them, they may get, you know, shy up, you know. They're into their culture. They're very cultural women for the most part, even in the big city. And as far as what they prefer, as far as foreigners. Now, you know, I've traveled all over this world, as I said, and for the most part, everywhere you go, the white boy is on the top as far as the dating market. You know, it is what it is. He made it that way for himself through the system of white supremacy. He made it that way for himself. He made all the non-whites to worship his people. So naturally, you know, out here you're gonna see a lot of white men, you know, homely looking white men, fat white men, ugly white men. They're gonna be with, you know, nice young Vietnamese women because they can do that here. You know, they may not be able to do that in the States or in the UK or wherever else they come from, but here they can do that because of that idolism that people that they have created for themselves in third world countries. And so it applies everywhere basically. Like they get the top picks usually. They are it seems to me, you know, that they are the preferred choice, but that does not mean that you can't get it popping. You know, this ain't China. You can get it popping out here, and the women will give you a shot. They don't have, from what I've seen, it doesn't seem, I mean, I've been here for about a month, but a little bit over a month, but it doesn't seem to me that they are too color struck, that they will, like I said, they don't, you know, the white man is the preferred, but I done seen some brothers out here with a Vietnamese woman and a child, and the children are a child they had together. You know, but it ain't many brothers out here though like that. Maybe all the brothers are in Thailand, you know, but there's a few here and there, and yeah, they don't, for the most part. I would say this, you know, to bring it all to a head. If you are a brother and if you have an opportunity to come to Vietnam, or you know, you're contemplating coming to check it out or relocate here, you should be, as far as the dating life, I think you'll be cool. You know, you may have to work a little harder than the white boy, but that's anywhere in this world. It is what it is. And you know, also the language barrier. You know, that language barrier is extreme. You know, very few I've encountered that speak English. You know, very few that speak English. So that is something that is going to be a barrier to you, but it's not going to stop you, man. We got our phones. You can use Google Translate. Some women do speak a little English, even though it's broken, so you can be able to communicate. And that's what that is. You dig? And this, as I said, to end it, and this will be number 6, the Asian people here in Vietnam are 100% more welcoming to the black man than the Asian women or Asian people stateside. So they're a lot more welcoming than the Asians in the States, the US of A. We all know that they prefer to stay within their own communities. They prefer to if they don't date their own, they exclusively, for the most part, are dating white boys. And this is also the thing, like, it ain't, if a black man out here meets a Vietnamese woman and they get together and they end up marrying and have a child or children, the family are more, it seems to me that the family would be more accepting of that situation as opposed in the States. We all know what happens in the States for the most part when brothers get with Asian women and they may become serious and have children. Oftentimes the woman is disowned by her family for making that type of move. But I don't see that happening out here, especially because the family know that you come from a wealthy country, either the US. So they look at that as a come up. They're like, oh, she's good. That's a come up for her. As opposed to in the States, that's not a come up for an Asian woman. The come up for the Asian woman in the States is the white boy. You know what I mean? So that don't happen. I don't really see that happening out here like that. So with that being said, to wrap it all up, this is just the perspective from a real niggas that comes from the hood, that comes from the urban environment. It's going to be a totally different perspective from all the other blacks that you may see on here, because they tend to want to fit in. They tend to want to assimilate to the dominant expats out here, which are the European expats. And so they try to blend in, they try to hold their head down. But if you're a real niggas from the hood, we walk a little different, you know what I mean? We ain't trying to make people comfortable. We ain't trying to fit into, the other Europeans or the other expat culture. Like we gonna stay true to who we are, and that don't mean that we just wilding out. That means that, look, I come from East Oakland, and that's where I'm from. That's where I grew up at, and I ain't gonna never try to act like that ain't the case, that I'm trying to be somebody else or I'm trying to assimilate so I can be accepted. Like that's how most hood people move, And so that's why I had to give that perspective, because I didn't see it. It was lacking. It was lacking on YouTube. So I had to provide that. So with that being said, it's definitely, if it's something you want to do, brother, even sister, I would say if you have an opportunity to come to Vietnam, then go ahead and do it. And as far as what I prefer, at my preference, or where I had the most fun at, and I enjoyed more of the lifestyle, my preference would still have to be Thailand. But unfortunately, from what I hear, the money ain't really there like that. Like usually if you're gonna do Thailand, you coming with money, or you got money coming in every month from either some business you started or some investments that you have. So in Thailand, you more need to come with money and have money coming in, and so that way you will be able to live a baller lifestyle. Whereas here, you can find work. You ain't got to come with money, but it may not have the same perks that Thailand has. So with that being said, this is your brother Jay International. Go ahead, like the video, share and subscribe, and it will be more coming in the future. Peace. Hotep.